Hey, what's going on, Savages? You already know who it is. It's your favorite sweaty, your boy Mikey Savage 21, and today we're going to be doing a discussion on the DC Extended Universe and what's next going forward. So basically, we have now had exactly 4 films come out in this current DCEU, starting off with Man of Steel in 2013, which wasn't critically praised, but for the most part, most fans liked it. We got Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, which was divisive all the way through. Suicide Squad was also divisive. And now with our first success, where both critics and fans are digging this movie, we have Wonder Woman. So what's coming next? Now, we already know for the upcoming films that we actually know that are coming out, we have Justice League, which is coming out in November of this year. We have Aquaman, which is slated for December 21st of next year. We have Shazam, which is scheduled for April 5th, 2019. We have the Cyborg solo film, which is supposed to be out in 2020. And then we have the Green Lantern Corps movie that's supposed to be coming out in 2020. These have all been confirmed and have been stated. Now, of course, recently they've also came out and talked about Shazam. They've also talked about the untitled Justice League Dark film. They've talked about the Flash film and possibly how Robert Zemeckis might come in to direct, or Matthew Vaughn, or Sam Raimi. We also had the Untitled Justice League sequel that was originally planned, but then they said they were going to bump that and push it back for the Batman film, which, there and again, we're supposed to get the solo Batman film. We're supposed to be getting a Man of Steel 2 as well, and we're supposed to be getting a Suicide Squad sequel with Mel Gibson as the front runner. And then we have Gotham City Sirens, which is supposed to bring back the combination of Margot Robbie as well as David Ayer. And we're supposed to be getting a Nightwing film and a Batgirl film directed by Joss Whedon. And of course, we're supposed to get a Wonder Woman sequel because, you know, they were contractually obligated to come back, especially the studio. Why wouldn't the studio want to make one? With all these movies being said, we have a slew of films to talk about, but basically I want to know what's next for going forward with the DCEU. I just list off to the list of movies that they have coming up on their roster and everything. But what do you think that they plan to do next? You know, I remember at one point they had talked about how Johns was coming in and he was basically going to be the figurehead like Kevin Feige is over the MCU. Well, of course, Johns is going to be at the top, and then he's basically going to relay the message back down to Zack Snyder and James Wan and Goyer and David Ayer and so forth and all the people we have directing these films. Now, with that being said, what do you think their ultimate goal is? Now, obviously, the original MCU plan was to everyone have their own solo films, come together, and then they have the big team-up film, which was the Avengers film. Now, DC, being, you know, wanting to catch up with Marvel, I'm assuming, decided to go a different route. They released Man of Steel, and then instead of having a solo Batman film, we got the Batman story inside the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice movie. Then from there, we had, continuing from that, we got Suicide Squad. And then again, we had Wonder Woman, which takes place before Batman v Superman. Me personally, what I want them to do next is I want to see them right the ship, and I want them to make Justice League the most epic film that we've seen since the Avengers. It doesn't even have to be as good as the Avengers. I want it to be as good as the Avengers, and I'm going into it with an open mind because I actually did like what Zack Snyder did with Man of Steel, and I like the vision that he had in the extended version of Batman v Superman. But I want to see all of these characters. I want to see Aquaman, I want to see Cyborg, I want to see Flash, Wonder Woman, Superman, Hal Jordan, if that's the one that they use, and Batman. I want to see them all team up against the Spite. That's awesome. After that, what I think they ought to do is they ought to focus on solo films from there forward. Then that way, when we get to the next Justice League film, which we will most likely definitely get, then we have spent more time with these characters. We spent more time with the respective members of the Justice League. So if, say, one of them was to die or one of them was to get seriously injured, we would care more about it, as opposed to if any of Batman gets hurt, or for example, and then again, this is spoilers, I'm assuming you've seen Batman v Superman. Superman dies. I did not feel sad one little bit for Superman, especially in the theatrical version. I had an emotional connection to him because I had just watched Man of Steel not too long ago before I went and saw the film. And so I was bought into his character, but because of the theatrical version, I didn't get to spend much time with him, meaning that I didn't care as much. Now, again, the extended edition had a lot more scenes with Henry Cavill in it, so of course I got more of a feel for his character, as opposed to with the Marvel films. We got to see the Hulk film, we got to see the Iron Man, we got to see Thor, we got to see like Black Widow and Hawkeye jump in and out of these different franchises and everything. And then ultimately we got our big team up. So when it came to the ending of that film where it looked like some of our heroes might not make it out of it, I was vastly immersed in that. Same thing with Civil War. When we saw the events of Civil War and how the events came after Age of Ultron and how all of the different heroes were being picked off and how it looked like they were fighting against each other and you didn't know whose side to choose, that tore me up and emotionally. And why? Because Kevin Feige made sure that we were introduced to these characters before they did big team ups and did ultimately led to Civil War, where you have hero versus hero, basically who's right and who's wrong. And I feel like that's what they need to do. Johns needs to get a hold of the reins, which he clearly has, because Wonder Woman was fantastic. Not only is that a credit to Patty Jenkins' directing style and to Gal Gadot for her acting, but it's also credit to John saying that he is finally probably getting a say-so and probably telling those studio executives that, hey, I got this, shut up, let me do my thing. You guys hired me to oversee this DCEU, well then let me oversee this extended universe then, and let me do what you guys hired me for. So what I want to see him do is take the reins even more. I want Justice League to be awesome. I want Zack Snyder's vision to come through, but I want to ultimately see Justice League be fantastic. I want to see it be just as good, if not better, than Wonder Woman. Then when Aquaman comes out, when Shazam, when Cyborg, and all the other films, again, that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, when they come out, I want those movies to be so good, and that way we will all better be invested into these characters. So when one of them eventually dies, or when one of them gets seriously injured or hurt, or there are serious moments going on of tension and where we don't know what's happening or who's gonna make it out, we are more invested and we'll care more about these characters. And I honestly feel like they need to focus on making the movies good, right? Make sure they tailor it to the fans, that's fine, but also make sure you have the right directors in place to direct these films that know these characters, that know the lore of the characters, that actually are willing to read comic books and actually study what it takes to make these characters stand out on this screen. That will get fans invested, that will get critics invested, that will get the general movie-going audience invested in these characters when you have things like that happen. But guys, let me know down in the comment section below, what do you think they ought to do next going forward with the DCEU? What's next? I've told you my thoughts. Now I want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, make sure you like, comment, and share this video with your friends, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you like the discussion and you want to see more discussions like this. Then hey, the best place to do that is to subscribe to the channel then. Thank you as always, and remember, as I always say, remember to become a savage, stay a savage, and peace out, y'all. Yes, I want to preface this. I want to put a little PS message at the end of this. A lot of you follow me on Twitter and social media, and you probably saw that my desk broke last night, and so my gaming console is fine. It didn't affect my gaming console, thank goodness. But some of the production on some of my videos, both the Testify Talks, the various movie discussions, and the game playthroughs might be slowed down by a couple of days until I'm able to get a new setup and get moved back into my regular studio setup. Because as of right now, I'm not in my regular setup. I'm actually somewhere else temporarily. But I just wanted to let you guys know that that's where I currently stand. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you all have a blessed evening.